Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the world's best cricket club, modestly titled. And I'm pleased to say tonight we have one member of a really true cricketing dynasty. Not Ron Headley, who of course is still alive, or George Headley, who sadly isn't, but George's grandson, Dean Headley. Absolutely fantastic, Dean, to have you in the world's best cricket club.
Thank you, Yozza. Good evening, everyone.
And how are you?
I'm good. It's just finished a long day at school. I'm in the middle of my boarding duty, so looking after, I think we've got about 52 16 to 18-year-old lads in the boarding house. So yeah, have to keep me on my toes.
Are you a good boarding house? What's the word? Boarding house master.
I'm assistant boarding.
Do you enjoy it?
Master. Yeah, actually.
There's an ambulance in the background, so.
Yeah, that's not here. That's just on the high street. But yeah, it's quite interesting because you over the time of 2 years, boys grow up. You see a massive difference from when they enter the house at 16 to when they leave at 18. Probably a little bit more respectful. And we've just got to sort of balance. It's not really treating them like school because it's really their home. So we deal with all sorts of different things.
How familiar are they with the heroics in your cricket career? Do they? I mean, my kids haven't got a clue what I did, really. And are your boys interested? And girls, do you have as well?
There are girls at the school. We're part of a foundation, so we have a junior school, a girls' school, and a boys' school, and then they come back together for sixth form. So we go from 11 to 16 girls and boys, and then they come back together as a co-ed at 16 to 18. How familiar are they? Well, I tell them all the time. No, I don't. It's really interesting, Yozza. I don't. Either people know or they don't. I'm not that bothered about it. I know what I've done. I don't need to tell people. And if they ask, I'll tell them. It's quite interesting with, we have quite a lot of rugby boys come into the house and they're like, oh, I want to be a professional sportsman. And then about 3 months after they've joined the house, they go, did you play international cricket? And yeah. And they just didn't have a clue. Some kids could be in the house for a year and they wouldn't know.
It's so mean, isn't it? It's so mean. And
long time ago, though.
Do you get involved?
To be fair, it's a long time ago, Yoz. I mean, these boys are 16, 18.
Well, it is, but you know, yeah, they weren't born when you were playing.
No,
much. Although I did notice, I was looking up some recent. I noticed you played a game or a few games, 2010, and in some Legends competition. And you got Carl Hooper out first ball.
Yeah. Yeah, we got himself out. I'm not sure which it was. Yeah, so we in 2010, Gladstone phoned me up and he said, I crashed my car actually, because he said, yeah, I did. Yeah, because he phoned me up and I just pulled into my house and he said, do you fancy going to Barbados? So I said, yeah. So what for? Well, it's a 320 overs games, and if you win that, you get to final. How long are we going for? 2 weeks. I went, yeah. I was so excited that I forgot to put the handbrake on my car, and it rolled into the house. And it was good. Hickey, Ramps. It's a proper team. Mm-hmm. John Embry, Nixon.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, and people you played with test cricket with.
Yeah, it's just really good fun. We didn't do any cricket for the first week. As you can imagine, there was a fair few late nights, and we had a great time, and we won the tournament. So in India, no, was it India? So there was West Indies and us in the final, and it was the biggest crowd that they'd had at Bridgetown outside an England Test match.
Wow.
So, it was good. And Carl Hooper got standing ovation when he walked in and walked out. They just love him in Barbados. He was the first name that they said they needed. But it's just good fun. There's 4 good teams. The Sri Lankans turned up, trained for 2 weeks, and didn't make the final. And we didn't train. And Gladstone was our captain, and we just rolled out and won it. To be fair, we did have Rampakash and Hit just hitting all the runs in the middle order, so they'd just retired.
Yeah. And what about you now? I mean, I know you're just breached 50. Do you still bowl at all? I mean, how's the body?
I had a half a knee replacement about 2 years ago. I can bowl. Occasionally, the 6th form get me to bowl at them. I try not to try and bowl too quick now because something will go bang. And yeah, I can still bowl a little bit, but
I know the feeling.
It is not good for the body. But yeah, I like coaching the lads and cajoling kids who aren't very good to try and play cricket, and some kids that are quite average to get better, and some kids who are very good to go on. So someone like Zach Chappell came from the school, and Joey Everson just recently is a good player. And we've got a few others that might be vying for professional contracts in the next 3-4 years.
Are you able to use the facilities for state school kids outside term or camps in holidays or anything? Is it one of those facilities that other people can use as well, or is it just for the school?
Yeah, so all private schools pretty much are charity based. So there's a certain amount of bursaries that go on. Every school has to help a certain amount of children come to their school financially. All of our facilities can be rented out by anybody at very reasonable rates, not expensive. And we always hold competitions here for the state schools, junior schools around here, and try and get them on site once in the hockey term, the rugby term, and the cricket term.
Okay, that's good. Great. So let's change tack a bit. I'm going to show everybody in a minute your one of the sort of highlights of your career. But I mean, just before we get to that, what did you make of yesterday? Did you manage to watch much of the Rafiq testimony, and what did it make you think?
I think I haven't watched any of it, to be honest. I think it's a personal story. I think that it has happened to probably quite a lot of people in various different levels, and I think that it's going to open up a can of worms across the whole of sport. I don't think it'll be cricket. I think it will be all. In fact, I would say pretty much if you went to every organisation in this country 30, 40 years ago, you will find racial abuse that has gone on. So it's how much of this can of worms will you open? How much will you try and compensate? And are we looking to educate to go forward? I always say to people, if you don't teach young kids what racism is, how can they be it? But we teach young children what racism is. We teach them what bigotry is. We teach them all this information, but we also forget we're also teaching them how to be it. And I ask that question a lot, even at school. Why teach children about racism at such a young age? They can probably deal with it more when they're teenagers, but I think if we just centre on good manners, good respect, behaviours, and if we centre on behaviours and teach those, I don't think we need to teach behaviours just through, especially at a young age. And also, I've got a situation where I've got my granddad, my dad, me. All I'll tell you is that what my granddad went through, or what I went through, pales in significance to what my dad went through. And then obviously what my granddad went through, my dad, it wasn't as bad for my dad. So it's, I think the world is getting better, but I think that we are I've got to be very careful here. We are in the culture of somebody must be to blame, and sometimes that is true, but I think that we are going to run down a route where everything, you won't be able to say anything to anybody, and that's not decrying this case because I've not heard the details, but I would say that, you know, when I played, I think the second team circuit was a lot of clubs. There's a lot of bullying that went on, not just racism, but just general bullying. And it was sort of seemed as a rite of passage, if you like. If you can get through this, you can get through anything. And in some ways they were right, but there are some people who don't get through it and get scarred by it.
So what did you experience and how did you get through it?
I got taught that, see, to be honest, anybody, I don't have a problem with people not liking me because of the colour of my skin. You know, they've got a right to believe what they want to believe. However, I do have a problem if they try and influence others too. So for me, if I was in a bar and somebody called me a name, I wouldn't go fighting. I wouldn't back away. I'd just like think, I feel sorry for them. I wouldn't make myself the victim. I make them the person that I feel sorry for. That's my upbringing. It's a personal thing. My mum and dad, you know, they went through a lot. My mum is white, my dad is black. I'll tell you a story. So when my mum and dad went to get married, they got married, they were buying their house, and the road that they went to buy the house in the cul-de-sac, my dad found out that the consortium was being formed by the men in that road to buy the house and sell it at a later date, so he couldn't move in. You know, so that sort of thing. You know, my mum would have letters to the door, monkey lover. You know, and also people don't realise that 60, you know, less than 60 years ago, I think it's 1964, the Conservative slogan in the Smethwick by-election, official slogan, and I don't know whether I can use this word, but I will. If you want a nigger for a neighbour, vote Labour. That was an official, because I'm just quoting a fact. That was an official slogan of the Conservative Party that they apologised only recently for. And that's 60 years ago, guys, and that sort of thing doesn't happen now. But I think that 30 years ago, I think, yeah, there were times that, you know, you had Jim Davidson, you had Love Thy Neighbour, you had different things that we all laughed at. There was one, what was the one in the classroom teaching English? There's another one, and it was like an English college for teaching foreign people how to speak English, and it had an Indian, a Pakistani, an Italian, a Greek, a French person, you know, and basically the whole humour was them all having a go at each other all the time. And Mind Your Language, it was called. So I look at this world that my sons are living in, and it's a really good world. We've still got our problems, but it's way better than when I got brought up in the 70s and 80s. And we've still got loads to go to be respectful for each other. But I've been phoned or contacted about 4 or 5 times in the last 2 days to go on TV programs, talk about it. I'm happy with my story. I know a lot of people aren't happy with their story. Did I get abused? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Do I want to talk about it? Not really. I did a documentary for Sky. I spoke about it then. Went to watch Cunningham, Regis, and Batson play for West Brom. Used to sit on, and 15,000 people were throwing, you know, people were throwing bananas, everything. So Have we moved on? Yeah, I think we have. Have we still got some lessons to learn? Yes. Does social media make it worse? Yeah, definitely. It just like magnifies everything. You know, you got to look at people's intention before you look at whether you should slate them or not. And intention is very important for me.
Context, you mean?
Yeah, I think it is context. It's not just the words that you use. So, for instance, if I call, say, if you're white and you called somebody a black so-and-so, why have you called him that? Well, perhaps you don't know his name. Perhaps that's the easiest description. Is it any different to calling somebody fat or spotty or four eyes or whatever? I don't think black is a racist word. I think it's a word that follows it that causes the problem. So if I say, look at that good-looking black girl, is that a racist comment? I don't know. I don't know what the world makes of it. For me, it's not.
Oh, okay. Did you meet your grandfather?
Yeah, I did. I met him at the age of it when I was 11. He came over. I only met him once for a couple of days. Tiny little man. He was about, I don't know, 5'7", I think. And then that's it. That's the only time that I saw him. So it's quite weird when people talk about my my family history, and I meet loads of people who know my granddad better than I do. But it's been really interesting over the years to read about him. But I always look at him as my granddad, not as George Headley, the great West Indian batsman.
And you probably see. Have you seen any footage of it? Have you seen any Is there any footage of him batting? I'm not. I don't think I've seen any actually. Have you seen any?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. Yeah. He used to have his hands really wide apart, one at the top, one at the bottom. Supposedly a really good bad wicket player, as in, you know, when the wickets got really bad, he probably averaged more than anybody. Obviously at the time, you know, there's some talent in the West Indies. I mean, he was the first black captain of the West Indies as well.
Yeah.
Frank Worrell was the first official, but he was the first one to captain them in a Test match.
Yeah. Jeff Boycott likes that fact. Actually, he knows that fact.
And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't realise that the West Indies team was half white in the early stages.
You know, we had in the Cricketer magazine's 100th anniversary issue, we had Pelham Warner an interview with his granddaughter, because Pelham Warner founded the Cricketer, and Pelham Warner was born in Trinidad, one of 22 children, and he captained England, and his brother, who had a name beginning with C, I can't remember the name now, like Clyde or something like that. He captained West Indies. So you actually had two brothers captain on opposite sides of an international team. And
I mean, I'll tell you a story. So you're talking about George. So you got the black Bradman, yeah. Somebody that were called Bradman the White Headley. So when I was playing Test cricket, Athers, he used to call me the beige Bradman.
Did they?
And he called me the beige Bradman because he said, obviously, the batting genes has faded. So obviously the black Bradman, he called me the beige Bradman, which I thought was very funny.
You weren't a bad batter, actually. In fact,
I was all right.
Yeah.
But batting was negative though, yours. I mean,
I know.
Batting back then, if you batted sort of 9, it was all about not playing a shot and whatever. I played my best innings when I actually played some decent shots. I batted for a long time in many situations, even for England, but doing night watchman and facing the new ball all the time wasn't easy.
Well, listen, talking about your cricket, let's just revisit one of your great moments in your career. This is the Melbourne Test of 1998, I think, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, 98. Yeah,
98. And I mean, apologies for the slightly rough edit here, but that's my fault. But I just sort of cut together your wickets. Right. So no, that's not it. Sorry. I'm just going to find it. Sorry, That's something else I accidentally put up. There we are. So I'll play it, and hopefully you can hear a bit of the commentary, just relive it briefly anyway.
Yeah, so we're up against it with Tate and Slater, and then and I think really the Aussies thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and the wicket wasn't going everywhere, but it was just nibbling a bit. And fumbled.
There wasn't many to win, was there, at this point? They only needed about 50
No, there
to
wasn't.
win.
They lost about 8 wickets for about 60 runs. And then we just went on a bit of a roll. It all started with a great catch by Mark Ramprakash. And I think really they were just caught that they just thought that it was just going to be a walk in the park, and then a few wickets fell, and then yeah, it just kept hitting the length. I mean, at one stage I think I had 0 for 45. I think I took my first wicket at something like one. I was like 9 overs, 1 for 40. I ended up with 6 for 60, and
this is Dean. This is Damien Fleming, and you should have had him out there. And look, can't believe Steve Butler hasn't given that. I mean, that is absolutely plum.
Well, I'm not being funny, but like I must have had about 3 appeals like that before he gave them.
This is the next ball.
Yeah, but I must have had 3 appeals like that for Fleming. And then it was just obviously Nicholson, I think, is the next one, and then it was I just read that.
Ben McGrath. So this Nicholson is the next wicket here coming up.
Yeah, and the ball was reversing.
Yeah,
so
it looked like
Coffey
it.
and I were exponents of reverse seam.
So Phil Laurie's getting very excited here.
Yeah, so when you bowl reverse swing, you don't. If the ball just holds its line, it makes it look like it's moved away quite substantially. So if you have a look at this, if it shows it from behind,
I'll just play it again. I'll play it again. Actually, I didn't play the replay here, but you can.
So probably a lot of previous balls have been going
the other way in,
and then it just doesn't have to go. All that has done is just held its line.
So you've held that for basically an in-swinger, conventional in-swinger, and it's just shaped away very slightly.
Yeah, but I've
or even just held its line.
No, I held it for reverse, but you know,
yeah, I know. I understand
I'm a big believer in natural variation. You know, people talk about you got to do everything perfect.
And that was the last wicket. Goffey got the last wicket.
And he got McGill just before that with the same sort of ball, just reverse swing. So up until that time, English bowlers hadn't used reverse swing. So Craig White, myself, Goffey were good exponents from it because we're a little bit more slingy in our action.
Look, there's the lovely young Dino there. Beautiful.
There's Gus.
Who?
Gus.
Oh, Gus, yeah.
Smiling as ever.
So I mean, just to explain about how you held it then, I mean, I might as well go with it a little bit. So you were bowling mainly reverse in swing then. So you had the shiny side on the right-hand side. Correct. You were doing that and making it go like that. And occasionally you had the shiny side on that side to make it just reverse straight, I suppose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but so if you hold the ball like that as you've got it and tilt it more towards your left shoulder, the seam, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Slingy bowlers release the ball like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was a bit like that. Yeah, as well. Yeah.
So when you reverse the ball like that and come across your body, so really, I think the best way to explain reverse swing, it's a bit more like a wing of a plane that puts its flaps up. So what happens, you've then got gravity and the pull of the rough side pulling down on the ball. Yeah. And then that's why it dips in. And that's why you don't really see massive reverse out, because it needs the gravity to drop it out the sky.
That's very well explained. I like the precision of that. Very good. And did you know it was called reverse swing then?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I know exactly what I was doing with it.
Because I remember bowling reverse swing in about 1987, and I had no idea what it was. I just turned the ball round and it swung the wrong way. So we didn't call it reverse swing really until probably a few years later. And you have you have a memento of that performance, don't you?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you asked me earlier, do I have anything? And I go, no. I mean, everything that I've got is in a small little cabinet, and I never. You wouldn't walk into my flat and think he played cricket. There's a few pictures about, but not. You know, people have these like shrines to themselves. I'm not really one of those people. So this is I don't know whether you can see that. So that's the cup that I played, that I got for man of the match. As you can see, it's
quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
take up a large. You'd have to put loads of socks in that to get it in a suitcase.
Yozo, that's exactly why it gets used for putting stuff in. So I have it in my lounge, and keys go in it and all sorts. It should be really silver and shiny, but
it's like a kitchen drawer, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and people come in, they don't notice it, and that's fine.
Yeah, great. Oh, how lovely. It's a good memento. No, so just tell us about the Ashes a little bit. England are going to be there in they are there already, but they're going to be playing in a couple of weeks' time. What's it like, arriving out there and kind of considering how to beat the Aussies? What's that whole process like?
Well, I think we call ourselves a sporting nation, but Australia are a sporting nation. The whole of their country and everybody is into sport. I mean, it amazes me how they can produce a rugby union side of the quality that they do, a rugby league side, hockey teams, swimmers, runners, and actually their best sport for men is Australian rules. So if you had imagined those suddenly take up tennis and whatever, and they're 6'10" and move like people that are 5'6", I mean, I don't know what their sports teams would be like, but they'd be probably a damn sight better. Amazing production of sportsmen from such, and sportswomen from such a small population. Going out there, everywhere that you go, this is big, and they do not give you respect until that you earn it. They will bag you. They will. It could be anything. It could be, you're talking to a little old lady and she goes, "You English? Yeah. You play for the England cricket team? Yeah, we're going to thrash you." It's like, blimey. And I look at it that when they come over here, everybody's like, "Oh, yeah. Go well, Shane. Go well, Mark Moore." And I'm thinking, no, bag them. They're playing us. Don't be so polite. And so I played 3 tests here. I played 3 tests there. I did all right against the Aussies, and I loved playing against them. I lost both times. I think we were a bit hard done by in Australia. We won at Melbourne, and then we went on to Sydney, and that was an amazing test match. That was probably one of the best test matches I played in. It swung both ways, in the sense of like Aussie were on top, we were on top, Aussie on top. Goffey got a hat trick. And then their second innings, I think they only got about 170. And I think Slater scored 130 or 121 out of it. And it's the highest in percentage of an innings in Test cricket by one person. And Slater was run out, I think, in the early 20s. He was run out by a mile. It went to third umpire, and they still didn't give it. So, I think Michael Vaughan has said before, if that squad had come away from that series with a draw, that would have been as big as 2005.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Vaughan said he watched it and he just said, "I can't believe you pushed them to the end." And we lost 3-1. That last test match, I'm not saying we would have won, but we basically would have skittled them for about 70 and or 90. We would have been chasing 180 instead of chasing 280, which is a hell of a difference when you're captain. Chasing 180, you just need 2 players to come off, and also your captain can't set fields, and just the field setting becomes harder.
What about bowling out there? England have got Mark Wood, who hasn't. I don't think he's played a Test match out there, and obviously got Wokes, Anderson, Broad, Overton. What's your advice about bowling in Australia? How do you have to change from bowling in England?
This has always been England's problem: is finding people who can bowl abroad. I didn't mind it because I could get the kookaburra to reverse. So, and I had a bit of my action was a little bit more unique than other people. So I do know that the Aussies felt that I was a wicket taker. And I was a little bit different to a typical English seamer. You got to bowl tight lines. You can't, and I know people go on about it all the time, but you got to have a heart as well. It's hot days. You got to want to be there, and you take stick all day. All day you take stick from the crowd. Barmy Army, absolutely brilliant.
Well, they won't be there this time, of course.
No,
but not in many numbers.
I mean, it was really at the start of the Barmy Army. The Barmy Army were, for me, a wonderful organisation who gave you so much and supported you through thick and thin.
So obviously that keeps you going on a long day. And how do you change? What's often talked about is Kookaburra sort of does a little bit early on with when it's new, and then it does absolutely nothing. And you were taking wickets there with an older ball.
Yeah.
So in a way, that was your strength, actually, to be able to bowl effectively in Australia with an older ball. So what do you need?
You need to be able to seam the ball. You can't just rely on swing. You've got to be able to move the ball off its lateral, off its line, off the seam. I think we over egg out shape in this country. The
out shape.
We have this. He doesn't bowl a lovely out shape. I think that is even Anderson bowls. He's an outswing bowler, but I would say 70% of his balls now. He's such a good user of the crease to create the angle to draw people into the shot. He's such a clever bowler. But I would say 70% of his balls are going to hit off stump with an angle in. Whereas I think when he first started, he bowled everything out. And when you look around the world and you look at the top wicket takers in the last 20 years, you're talking Srinath, McGrath, Walsh, Ambrose. They all have one thing in common. They all nip the ball back at you. Broad.
McGrath. I think you said McGrath, didn't you? Yeah.
Bumbrah, and Shamit. They do move the ball out, but they all blow the pad off.
And in a way, doing that brings in more dismissals, doesn't it? If you're bowling outswing, unless it's an absolute pitch, middle and leg and hit off, you're taking bowled and LBW out of the equation. Whereas with an in-swinger, you could get the edge, but you could also get a bowled and LBW.
Yeah, I just think it's over-egged in our coaching. We also coach to a lot of bowling coaches coach to a formula. So they want the bowlers to look the same. There was a time that all of our bowlers were looking the same. Now we've got a bit of variation. And I think the coaching setup now is looking for, could you see Bumbrah going through our system?
You mean because of the way he bowls?
He wouldn't have got to Test cricket bowling off 10 yards and just bowling how he did. Somebody would have tried to change him.
So let people be is what your message is, really. Let them find their own way of doing it.
I think the skill of the coach is to look at the super strengths of somebody and then try and get the best out of that.
So what would be we'll go to the quiz in a second. What would be your England attack for the first Test at Brisbane?
God.
Well, you've got to choose Anderson, Broad, Overton, Wokes, Wood, Leach, Bess, Robinson, sorry. Thank you very much. Ollie Robinson. Yeah, he's a good bowler, isn't he?
Ollie Robinson would be definitely in for me.
Okay, one. Wood?
Okay, so I think Wood has got pace, but I don't know whether you get bounce in Australia. It's because of his height. So that would counteract his pace. But obviously, you know, if he's on full speed, then if he can get the ball reversing a little bit, then that would be good. I think you
Broad,
just
Anderson.
I'd dovetail them.
Okay. So you play one test, one another test.
Yeah.
They probably both play at Adelaide with the pink ball.
Yeah, definitely the pink ball. They should both play, and then is Joffrey?
What about Wokes? What about Wokes? Your rummy mate.
Is Joffrey going?
No, Joffrey's injured. No, he's in Barbados. He's having a lovely time.
I really like Wokes, and obviously he adds to your batting depth.
Well, you haven't answered the question. Then you've got 5 bowlers now. You've got to pick 3.
Well, who have I got then?
You've got Robinson. You said yes.
Yeah.
Possibly Wood, because he probably won't play in Adelaide. So maybe you have.
Well, he definitely play at Perth.
Play at Perth, but that's not till the end of the series now. It's the last test. So okay, so you probably have Wood. I'm sorry, I'm not putting words in your mouth here, but let's say you've got Robinson and you've got choice between Wood, Anderson, Broad, and Wokes. 2 more.
Can I just interject to say Ben Stokes may have a role to play?
Yes, I did mention Stokes. I did mention Stokes. Yeah,
he'll be 4th seamer. I would never play him as a 3rd seamer in Australia.
No. Okay.
I'd go Broad, Robinson, and Wood.
Okay.
And then I would then look at dovetailing people. So
so basically Jimmy and Wokes possibly for the pink ball test or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy definitely for the pink ball test. I think you've got a good fast bowling unit or good seam bowling unit, and I think you've got 5 tests to play out there. Is it 5 or 6?
5.
Yeah, you got 5, so they're all going to play at some point, and I think they're really good, skillful unit. Ollie Robinson looks really good.
Prediction very quickly. Scoreline.
I think we'll win.
You
2-1.
Right. Okay. Dean Headley says England will win 2-1. Very good. Right. Listen, we're going to go to the quiz because I want to have a bit of time for our audience questions. So this is a quiz which is called "How Well Do You Know Yourself?" Right. And I'm just going to show you the leaderboard, which was the last time we did this, which was about 2 weeks ago. Here it is.
Yeah.
Liam Livingston on top with 9. Liam Plunkett got 8.5. Gat 8. NASA 6.
Yeah.
So 6 to beat. We've done a few of these, but the lowest score is Alistair Cook with 4 in a previous round. But this is the current leaderboard. So you've got 6 to beat for NASA. Yeah. Right. Starts with a bit of music. Okay.
Yeah.
If you get your question right, you get this. He's got it. And if you get it wrong, you get this.
So I don't have to write anything down. I've just got to. Okay.
No, you don't have to write anything down. Right. So.
Has anybody got 0 before?
No. Alistair Cook is the lowest with 4. Right. Okay. Question 1. This is about you, obviously. Question 1. What is your highest first-class score?
91.
He's got it! Nice, easy one to start with. Very good. Question 2. How many test wickets did you take?
60.
He's got it! Half volley through the covers. Very good. You see, it's a good start.
Yeah, but they're getting harder though, aren't they? I know you.
Okay. Question 3. Who got more first-class wickets? You or me? Or was it the same?
I think it'd be you, Yoss.
Sure?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
It was the same.
Oh, that's
exactly the same. 466 each.
All right.
Okay.
How many did you play for?
Oh, too many. Two out of 3. Question 4.
Yeah.
Who was your first class debut against, and how many wickets did you take?
Yorkshire, I got 5.
He's got it!
Correct.
Ashley Metcalf.
Ashley
Metcalf, first
Yes.
wicket.
That's a,
And as I was walking off, Gus said to me, Dino, well bowled, all downhill from there. And what he meant was, and he was right, he says your career doesn't depend on your good days. It depends on how you handle your average and below average days.
And how did you handle them?
I always wanted to bowl, which is probably why I finished at 29.
And had a half knee operation. Okay. Very good. 3 out of 4. Right. Okay. Question 5. Who was your last first class wicket? If you need a bit of help, I can tell you who you were playing against, maybe.
Who's the playing against?
Gloucestershire. For Kent.
I will say John Lewis.
It was Jack Russell.
Oh, was it?
3 out of 5. Question 6. How many wickets did you take on your Test debut in total, the whole game?
8.
He's got it!
8. I mean, what a start. 4 in each innings against the Aussies. Fantastic.
I played 14. I only played 14 tests, really. It says 15 because I didn't bat, bowl, or field in one test.
Really? That's bizarre. That's called a fresh air game, isn't it?
Well, it is, because that's the game that got called off in Jamaica.
Yeah, right.
But
Okay.
I think I took 7 forfeits for England.
Very good. Right, 4 out of 6. Oh, you're doing well. Question 7. How
Well,
many
big
first
bookie.
class? Yeah. How many first class 50s did you score?
Oh, sugar. Okay, it's one of 2 answers. I think it was 6.
He's got it!
Very good.
I think it was 6. It was 6 or 7, so it's 6.
Very good.
To be
5
fair,
out-
bowlers
5
do
out of
remember their
7.
batting.
You're doing all right. Question 8. What did George Headley, your grandfather, what did he average in Test cricket, roughly?
60.
He's got it!
Correct.
60.83.
Correct. Even more correct. 6 out of 8. Very good. Right, 2 more questions. You're doing well. Okay, question 9. How many tests did your dad play?
2.
Ron.
He's got it!
Too easy.
1973.
Yeah, okay, that was too easy.
Trophy. Yeah.
Right, now this one is an interesting one.
Mm.
This is a final question. And the question is, what do you, Parker, and J.S. Rao have in common? And I don't have the Christian name. Someone Parker.
Charlie Parker.
Charlie Parker. Right.
Not
Thank
the
you, Mitch.
not the jazz musician, the Gloucestershire bowler.
Okay. So what do you, Charlie Parker, and J.S. Rao have in
Who's
common?
J.S.
Which is
Rao?
is somebody who played in India in the Ranji Trophy. They're a bowler. They're all bowlers.
I would say
They all achieved something, including
I would
you.
say that we've taken 3 hat tricks in a year, 12 months or whatever.
He's got it!
I'll give you that. Very good. So that's correct. You all took 3 hat tricks in one season.
Yeah.
Very good indeed. That gives you 8 out of 10, a top class score.
Thank you very much.
And that puts you where in the leader table? Well, level with Gat. So yeah, good. Very good. Excellent. Well done. Probably should have tried a bit harder. We've got you some harder questions. Right. Let's go to the phones now. Let's go to the members and let's have some questions from you guys. Dean has got to leave, I'm sorry to say, in about 8 minutes. So I haven't left you much time, but so keep your answers fairly short. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So who's got a question?
Umar's on screen.
Umar. Good to see you today, Umar.
Cheers, Simon.
By the way, we'll carry
yeah.
on this after. When Dean's gone, we'll carry on. Okay, so carry on.
I'll keep it very quick. I remember an interview of yours years ago where you said as you bowled right-handed, you then, to ease the pressure on your body, you bowled left-handed as well to balance it out, which I thought was quite interesting. And I've been doing that with my the kids I coach. I want to understand where that came from, and because I've never heard it before or after.
Was that a live interview?
I
Because
can't remember. I think it was, yeah.
or did you read it?
No, it was a live interview on TV. I don't read.
I honestly don't think I did that, so I'm not sure. I think John Buchanan was a big thing. The Australian coach, he believes that cricketers will become ambidextrous. That'll be the next thing.
Okay.
I wish I could bowl. I'd bowl what I did and then bowl some left arm flighted filth.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try and dig it out, but
Okay.
No worries.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Umar. Right. Let's get through these quickly if we can. Sorry, I haven't.
I'm bringing him in. Martin's on
Yes.
screen.
Martin. Hi. Good evening,
Hi
Martin.
there. Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Martin.
Dean. Great night. Just a quick question, really about the family, obviously the dynasty and the great players your parent and grandparent was. What pressure were you under to reach those sort of levels, or to play cricket at all?
No, I played football, rugby, cricket, basketball. I played all the sports. Lots of people thought I was going to be. I think that football. A lot of people thought I played football up until the age of 14, and then my dad sent me to private school when I was 12, which put mockers on that. And then football was my first love, and then I just played. My dad hardly ever came to watch me. If he did, he wouldn't make himself visible. I was very lucky to play in the Birmingham League, and not just the top level of Birmingham League, the Birmingham League system, where I started off in the third team, second team. And it was fantastic breeding ground. Which I think, good standard. Which I think it's a long thing. This is, but I think promotion relegation is putting pressure on club cricket.
All right, thanks very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. Okay, so can we make sure have a look out for Niraj if he's on. If he's got his hand up, because he's a new member, and I think he asked if he could ask a question if he's in the house.
Yeah, Niraj is somewhere on the scene, but he hasn't got his. He's
Niraj,
not...
put your hand up if you want to ask a question. If you know how to do that.
Right. In the meantime, how long we got, Mr. Headley? By the way,
You got 5 minutes.
Okie dokie.
So I've got a load of kids to look after.
Boom. Will's in.
Simon, hello. Dean, hello. Just a very quick one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I've been given a lot of advice. I think Gus's advice to me was pretty big for me when I was when I played my first class debut and went to Middlesex, and nobody owes you anything. The fact that his advice really was, this is hard work. There's no substitution for it. And as a bowler, you will go through, you have certainly more below average days and average days than you do just good and really good days. And I guess it was to dig in, accept responsibility and dig in.
Yeah.
Make your really bad day a little bit better than bad. So the difference is bowling 20 overs and getting 0 for 45 makes a big difference from getting 20 overs 0 for 80.
Yeah. Great.
Because if 20 overs 0 for 45 is your bad day.
Yeah.
Then that's a pretty good bad day.
That is, yeah, pretty good. Cool. Great.
Good to see you, Will. Thanks for the question. Okay, have you found Niraj yet? No.
I love a saying as well, Yozza. I love a saying: define the moment, or the moment will define you.
Very good.
What that
Ian-
basically says:
Right.
make a choice, right or wrong.
We got a couple of minutes, so Wiggo, can we do it in 1 minute, and then I'll bring Robin.
Yeah, Dean, great to see you. Thanks for a wonderful evening.
Oh, yeah.
Want to focus on leadership this week, or lack of leadership. Which captain got the best out of you, and what did they do to motivate you?
It gave me confidence. I mean, to be fair, all my captains gave me confidence. So Gat was very good in the man management and just backing people. Nasser, I think I toured with him. He was a captain on my England A team, and I bowled 45 overs for Nasser in 110 over innings, and bowled 35% of all the tour overs. So Nasser liked that sort of thing. And if he asked me to bowl, I'd bowl. But we're good friends, and in a way, I like hard work.
Yeah.
But Stewie, Athers, just confidence, and I think that's what was lacked in the 90s. I always say that England is a club that you join now. England was a team that you represented now and again when I played.
Good point.
Yeah, very good point. No central contracts in those days, were there?
Right,
Okay.
last question. Rob's
Great.
here.
Great. Cheers, Ian.
Evening, Dean. How you doing?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm just a quick one, really, about a captaincy as well. Was there one worldwide captain who you would have loved to play for, but never obviously got the chance because they captained another team?
Yes, I would say I would have liked to have played under Clive Lloyd. He didn't play in my era, but I would have liked to have seen what he was really like in the dressing room. And the only problem is I don't think I could have got in that side.
Well, Eldine Baptiste got in it.
Yeah, but he could bat as well, properly. Yeah. But he wasn't bad though, Eldine.
No, he was good. He was good. He was good. Now, you were a better bowler than him by a long way. So you like to play on a Clive Lloyd, and what do you think? Why do you say Clive Lloyd? Just because he was a legendary captain, or was there something about him that you liked?
See, so Clive's a friend of mine, and I just would have liked to have seen the way that he commanded the troops and what he said to them, how he got them going. He might have been terrible, but I just would, putting on the spot, that would be the one person I'd like to find out what it was like.
Did your father ever try to dissuade you from being a bowler? Because you come from a batting heritage. Did they ever try and say, don't be a bowler, be a batsman?
No. So what happened, a lot of people thought I'd be a batter before the age of 16, and I grew 6 inches in a year, like 2 years. I lost my footwork for a bit, but amazingly, there wasn't all the coaching that you got now, discussing about your triggers and what you did. What I know now, Yozza, about cricket, I would have been a better player. It was devoid of detail. It was, you learn off senior players. You had conversations about cricket. But now they're getting into the nitty gritty of data.
And drills.
Not just drills, it's data and the ability to train people in different ways. I would have been stronger, I would have played for longer. We were fit, but we didn't have the background to get our stability completely right. So,
or the kit, actually, boots, things like that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, brilliant. And I've got one more question. Who was your fast bowling idol? As
Malcolm
growing up?
Marshall. Malcolm Marshall, every day of the week, GO80.
And did you ever pick his brain?
I only got to speak with Mac. I've met Mako quite a lot. God rest his soul. And they were trying to move my front foot from a splayed front foot like that to straighten it out, and he just said, "You'll never do it." He said, "It's impossible. Your body's landed like that. You got muscle memory. You won't change it." And he said, "Give it up. Just keep bowling the way you bowl." But for me, massive tactician, swing it, beat people with pace, bounce, aggression, just lovely bowler.
Yeah, I can't really think of anyone as a better role model, really. Great, thank you. Is Niraj here, Noughts or not?
Niraj was in. Niraj was in the building, but Niraj
gone.
is no longer in the building.
Oh, he must have
I
gone.
think
He's
he may have.
He might have probably gone to bed, actually, because it's about, I think he's in Mumbai or something. It's probably 1 o'clock in the morning now. So better let him go to bed. Dino, we better let you go as well. Many thanks for your contribution tonight. Very profound and passionate and interesting. And I hope you enjoyed it. And well done on the quiz. And we better let you get to your borders.
No, thank you very much, everybody. Really enjoyed it. And catch up soon.
Cheers. Great. Please feel free to leave. Thanks very much.